Welcome back. You're watching Mornings Live with Tineka and Will. Now, actress Catherine Zeta Jones has dropped her clothes at the ripe old age of 40 in her first ever nude photo shoot for Allure magazine. Zeta Jones says she's extremely comfortable in her own skin and wasn't intimidated at all. Good for her. She's not the first celebrity to get their kid off in a magazine. Recently, sweet singer Gabriella Cilmis has transformed her image and posed in FHM's men's magazine. On the line, we're joined by Mike Brandon, New Ideas Features and Entertainment Editor. How are you going?
Really well. How are you guys?
Wonderful, thank you. Now, do celebrities feel pressure to do these nude shoots? What's the reason behind it?
Well, I just don't know how they convinced Catherine Zeta Jones of all people to get her gear off for Allure magazine in the US. It's quite a big, it's quite a big feat, I suppose, to get an actress of her caliber to strip down.
Yeah.
Do you think do they often get paid for these kind of things, or is it just something they do for their own benefit? Or
I wouldn't assume that she would get paid for this. Certainly not. It's I don't know why. Maybe she wanted to prove something that you can still be sexy at 40 and prove to her husband, who's a few decades her senior, that she's still as hot as ever.
He's still batting above his weight, I think. Perhaps.
Yeah, totally.
There's no doubt about that. Mark, then, I'm always perplexed by the fact that you have a lot of women's sort of advocacy groups and forward-thinking types that come out and say this is wrong, exploitation, sends the wrong messages and so on and so forth. Yet we see, and I think more so perhaps recently, a propensity for these sorts of pictures to turn up in publications that are aimed at women.
Yeah, exactly.
Explain that one to me.
Look, I don't know. I think there's two schools of thought on it. I think it's empowering. I personally think it's empowering, and I think she wouldn't have done it for any other reason, I don't imagine, than for the fact that she wanted to, She wasn't pressured into it or anything. She's old enough to make her own decisions and stuff like that. So, and same with Gabriella Cilmis. She, I guess, is 18 years old now, and hers is slightly different, I suppose, because it's in a men's mag, but yeah.
Well, it's interesting whether they do it in a men's or a women's, because I think out there a lot of women try to impress other women more than they do men. Would you agree? Yeah,
definitely. I think that's certainly the case. And I think it's almost not less offensive, but there's something that feels less demeaning, if you will. Like, if you think that that's what it is, there's something less demeaning if it's in a women's magazine. I don't know why, but that seems to be the attitude. It's like when Demi Moore stripped off for Vanity Fair, like when she was pregnant all those years ago, and she's perhaps not showing any less flesh than any of these women, but I guess it's just the title of the magazine that kind of...
It's the defence. It's not smutty, it's art, if it's in a women's magazine. If it's shot with some nice lighting and so forth. Are all of these ones, are they extremely airbrushed, would you say? And what's the difference between being in a women's and a men's when it comes to the airbrushing and changing of the form?
I'd say probably the airbrushing would be about the same in both. I'd say these are monthly magazines, quite glossy magazines. I'd say the airbrushing's quite high, certainly much higher than it would be if it was in a weekly magazine. Do you know what I mean? I don't have any insider knowledge of this exact photo shoot, but I would assume that they were probably going backwards and forwards with quite a few airbrushing requests for quite a few weeks, at least, I'd say, for Catherine Zeta Jones, and perhaps the same for Gabriella, yeah.
Well, what do you think it's done for Gabriella's image, I guess, because she used to be very much, very sweet, young kind of girl, and I think she's only still about 18 years old or something, but this has definitely ramped up her image. What do you think it's done for her doing this nude photo shoot? Oh, not nude, semi-nude.
I get the feeling that there's a certain pressure on young stars to amp up the sexuality, like, as their careers go on. Do you know what I mean? Look, I feel like we've seen it before. We saw it with people like Britney Spears, and we've seen it with people like Christina Aguilera. They start off very sweet and innocent and young when they're 16, but then they quickly become very sexual and very sexy, and they're wearing less clothes and dirty dance moves and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I think it's nothing. It's not anything very new with Gabriella. I think we've seen it with most pop stars.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Mark, you described it earlier as empowering. Now, as an editor and with a New Idea, a very successful publication there, who would you like to empower if you had your choice of any celebrity out there or in the world?
Jeez. Well, we would obviously love our best friend who is Jennifer Aniston and our second best friend who is Angelina Jolie. We
Right.
would love those sort of people to get nude for us any day of the week.
Yes.
In terms of local celebrities, I don't know, like who are a few of the big names? I wouldn't mind seeing a pregnant Dannii Minogue
Okay.
Oh.
in the buff on the
Yep.
cover of New Idea magazine. I think that would interest our readers.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure who else. Who do you guys want to see naked in the pages of New Idea?
This is a
Give me
question.
some names. Give me some names and I'll do the chasing.
I'll tell you what.
This is a question best asked by Will, I believe.
I think there's going to be a follow-up email from this interview. Gee, the mind boggles, doesn't it? I'll let you go, Tineka, because anything I say was going to be wrong.
Yeah, well, you know, I think Scarlett Johansson's very beautiful, and she's, you know, curvilicious and that kind
Yeah,
of
that'll
thing.
do. We're happy with that one, Mark.
Yeah, okay. I'll try that one. I'll let you guys know.
See what we can do. You know,
I'll
we
let you know how we go with
that. Beautiful. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Mark.
No worries.
And good luck in getting Scarlett on the in the
Yes,
magazine.
we're looking forward to a new idea.
If we get it, you'll be the first to know.
Terrific. Thanks, Mark.
Mark Brandon, their editor of New Idea.